Busy educators, welcome to Tech Time for Educators, where we're short on time but big on tech ideas. My name is Kathy Jenkins, and I will be your host for this show. I'm a music teacher from Wheelersburg, Ohio, and I'm currently working on my master's degree in classroom technology from Bowling Green State University. I'm creating this video series as part of my final capstone presentation and hope that educators will get a better grasp of technology and utilize it as an excellent tool in the classroom in just a few minutes of time. In today's quick episode, we're going to talk about a video making site called WeVideo. I love WeVideo and have been using it for a couple of years now. And as a teacher, I'm starting to use it with my students. In this episode, we'll provide 4 practical tips to integrate it into your classrooms in just a few minutes, saving you time and boosting student learning. The 4 tips I want to talk to you about today are: what is WeVideo and what is it capable of, podcasts, videos, and easy uploads. So let's get started. WeVideo is an interactive video learning platform. They believe everyone should have the power to create, communicate, and collaborate with video. For the most part, the site is free. However, their free plan will always have a watermark on everything. You can still upload to YouTube and download onto your computer with ease. The unlimited professional and business users can all edit and export without watermarks. I also believe the free is limited to how many videos you can upload and keep in your library. Now, if you're wanting to use this for students to use, whether for school news or projects, I encourage you to talk to your admin and tech department about getting the full program, just because there's so much there to utilize. Another great thing about WeVideo is that it's safe, it's school-friendly, and it's a school-friendly way for students to create films. Students love the ability to use film as a means to communicate what they learn. Here are some of the things you can create in WeVideo. Obviously, you can create videos. What's great is that you can even use a green screen and put yourself in any background you would like, just like the professionals, but probably not as refined. You can record your screen much like I've done with my videos, and you can have not only the screen record, but also you as well, which is great when trying to create lessons for your students to use at home if they're absent or if we have another event like 2020. WeVideo also helps in making podcasts, GIFs, and even storyboards. With added layers of music, text, and pictures, WeVideo is a great asset to have in your classroom. So let's take the next few minutes discussing a couple of these more closely. First thing I want to show you in WeVideo is the ease of making a podcast. We know that podcasts are all the rage right now, and it can be a great assignment to work on by yourself, friends, and even your students. This past semester, I had to create a podcast series for a class. Now, I enjoy listening to an occasional podcast, but I have friends that listen to them all the time. I'm subscribed to a few, but the ones that I heard actually helped me in creating my own. I knew I needed my topic, a script, probably just to keep my ideas in order, and all the ones I listened to, as an example, had music as an intro and into their episodes. So let's go to work and let me show you just how easy it is to make a podcast. But first, why a podcast? Maybe instead of an old-fashioned research project you want to assign your students, why not switch it up? Maybe have them create a 3 to 5 minute podcast talking about any topic. Or maybe you're a writing teacher and you want students to write a short story and then narrate it with music in the background. These are just a couple of reasons why it would be good to use this platform for them to present their work. WeVideo makes it easy. We start by going to wevideo.com. Now, I have the Pro service, which I believe is around $80 a year, but if your school has a subscription, I recommend getting in touch with your tech department and asking about it. It's super simple to start creating. Just go to the top left-hand corner and click Create. It will bring you to the dashboard where all the magic begins. Walking down the side, you have a project bin, and this is as you add to your project, your recordings, music, etc., they're going to show up here. Below that is your uploads. This is if you had your own music to add, you would upload it here. But I'll show you that there's stock music in the program that the program has to offer you, so you don't have to be a musician and make your own music. That's just an added bonus. Also, make sure that you do watch out for copyright music. You can't just use any music here. Since we're talking about podcasts, there's no need to look at images, text, transitions, or extras or backgrounds, but we will look at the audio, look more into the audio area here. When you click on the audio button, you'll see next to it a bunch of audio recordings that you can use in your podcast. These are organized into different emotions, for lack of better words, from inspiring to happy, holidays and horror. It all depends on what sound you're looking for. Now, I went into the classical on down here, and I clicked on the See All, and I found historical moments I like. Let's see here. Where is that? Historical moments. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this down audio. Oops. This one, just like that. So as you can see, it gives me my first layer down here. Now, as we move through this program, you can, as long as it's highlighted, you can move it to wherever you want. So when we're going to do a podcast, you want some beginning music into your podcast. I can go to this audio, I can click on this box and say opening theme music, and I can adjust the master volume here. All right. I can also right click on my box to show my audio level. This is where I can fade it in so it starts at 0, but I can also click anywhere in here. I can increase it very quickly. Maybe I only want this entire piece at 72%. And then here, maybe I will bring it down to a very gradual fade at the end. And then I can layer my talking over top of that. To record your voice is really the last major thing you need to know for a podcast. It's very simple, but I do recommend that you have some form of a microphone or headset that picks up your voice easily. Simply click up on your project bin, and at the top, you'll see that we've used our historical moments so that we can add that to the end of our podcast. But up at the top, you have record, narrate. For a podcast, we're just going to click narrate. And from here, you want to make sure that your microphone default is set, and then you hit start, and then this page will open up. And then once you're ready to go, you hit record, and there's a 3-second countdown, and you begin. When you're finished, simply stop the recording. You can preview it again, record again, cancel, or if you like it, you can save it. Once you've saved your recording, it will automatically show up as a layer, and you can adjust it how you please. If you move over top of it, it's too loud, simply bring down the master volume or pull up the volume, just like I showed you with our music. So once you add your talking in, it will show up like this, and it will come up in another track. You can always add tracks. You can add an extra audio track, and it will go down here to the bottom. Now, when I first started looking at this, I was like, man, I don't like scrolling through all this. You can easily click right here at this line and drag it so that you can see all of your layers at once. You know that you don't need a text, so you can delete that track. You know you're not going to be using videos, so you can delete that. But it says you need at least one audio and video track to edit your video. Because remember, it's called WeVideo. Once you're done recording everything, you've got your music in place, then all you have to do is export. We'll talk about exporting, saving, and uploading in our last segment of this episode. You can always skip ahead to that from the chapters in the description. I love creating videos in WeVideo. This summer, I have learned how to add green screen recordings, text, and images to make videos more enjoyable to watch and have fun while creating them. You don't have to have a professional grade video camera for this to work well either. Actually, I do a lot of my recordings with my cell phone because I find that the camera to be a better quality. However, your school tech department might have some nice camera equipment that you can check out that your students can use to create great video. For videos, we use a lot of the same techniques as we did for our podcast. You'll probably still want music and possibly voiceovers, but you'll also need to add the layers with text, video, and pictures. For beginners, I often say use a template to get you started. Just like with other programs, you can customize these templates and make life a lot easier, especially for your students. So let's look at some of these templates. This is my home page, and we can look at templates. Let's go with a student introduction. As I scroll down here to the right, I see a student introduction, and you want kids to create a short video introducing themselves. I like this template because we can edit it pretty easily. Let me show you how. You start by clicking on that video. It'll come up in a new page. Here's your project bin. It shows you everything that it uses, from video clips to audio clips to motion and text clips. Let's start by working on the text layer. Remember, you can pull the bar up so you can see all the layers at once. By clicking on the first box, then click Edit, this will bring you to where you can edit the font, the color, or the text. I'm going to change the color because I'd rather have it yellow instead of pink. So I click on my box, I click Edit, and I look here, and I'm going to take my pink and make it a bright yellow. You can also change the font size as well as the location simply by clicking and dragging the box on the screen. When you're finished editing, just click Done, and it has already added to the video. You'll just click through the rest of these boxes and make them the way you want. Just click, edit, and go from there. I do want to point out on this next text that you'll see is a footage that looks like a science feature that I want to be music. When you find one like that, go down to the footage of the science and click on that one and delete it before bringing the other down. You might have to cut it down before moving it into place. To do this, I'm going to go to my videos on the left, and I'm going to search music. As I scroll down through here, I'm looking for a cool video. This one looks pretty cool, and it's got music notes below it. So I'm going to pull that down, and notice that I'm going to have to cut it. So I'm going to do something to help me out with this. I'm going to add a track, and I'm going to add a video. It's going to go on the top here. And I'm going to pull this down, and I use this to help me edit. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to trim it down, and then I will pull it down to my footage so that my music box is on the screen. So when I play, you'll see it. And I can always go in here to edit and say my favorite subject in school is music, exclamation point. And I click Done. Now, the video aspect is just like the recording with your podcast. If you have a camera on your device, or if you have to upload from your phone, you'll insert it in place of these videos shown. I do want to mention that I like to record my voice on my microphone at the same time as my phone. I can take out the sound on my phone and then tweak it until my voice lines up with my video in another layer. Or you can straight record on your phone and have the sound and video together. It just depends on how you want to go about it. Or you can upload pictures in place of the footage or videos, simply drag down to where you want it and give it a, if where you want it, and it will give you the option to replace. So you are looking at some of my final videos by watching this video, and it's one of those programs you have to play around with. The more you play around with it, the easier it becomes and the more fun it is. Once you have your video looking the way you want it, then it's time to upload it. And let me show you how that works. So now your podcast or video are ready to export. This doesn't mean it is automatically on the web for all to see. It just does all the conversions necessary to do so. Once you're ready, simply click on the export at the top right hand of your screen. Your export options open up. Make sure your video or podcast has a title, and you can choose how you want it to export as. Unless it's an actual podcast, you can keep it as a video, but there is a pull-down tab that gives you a podcast option so that it exports only in MP3. Your next option here is where do you want it to go? Oh, and you can also change the resolution from standard definition to high def. So then your advanced setting is your destinations. You can save it directly to your Google or OneDrive, or you can connect it to your YouTube channel to upload directly there. The choice is yours. For school purposes with my students, it would be Google Drive, and then they would send it directly to me. Once you've figured out your options, simply click Export. It will take several minutes depending on the length of your recordings. When it's done, you'll see it in those locations you have chosen. I hope to include future episodes that go more into detail on each of these. There is so much you can add and create in WeVideo. Take some time and really play around with the program. Whenever you have a question, never hesitate to look up how something works. How do you think I learned to use this program? WeVideo is a lot of fun, and I find myself creating new ways to teach curriculum and even getting my students to present their work in new ways. Up the ante and see what you can create today. Have you tried using WeVideo in your classroom? Share your tips and tricks in the comments below. And from time-saving tips to tech breakthroughs, tech time for teachers, making education a breeze. Don't forget, even the most high-tech teacher needs a human touch. So keep on rocking. Until next time.